Have you ever wondered if everything you learned in history class was completely accurate? What if I told you that scattered across our planet are objects so mysterious and out of place that they challenge our entire understanding of human civilization? These are called out-of-place artifacts, or OOP arts, and they're about to turn your world upside down. Right now, sitting in museums and private collections around the globe are items that, according to mainstream archaeology, simply shouldn't exist. We're talking about intricate mechanical devices found in ancient Roman shipwrecks, perfectly carved crystal skulls that predate the tools needed to make them, and stone carvings depicting what appear to be modern technology thousands of years before their invention. Each one of these artifacts poses the same haunting question: were our ancestors far more advanced than we give them credit for, or did they have help from somewhere else entirely? I'm going to take you on a journey through the most mind-bending archaeological mysteries our planet has to offer. By the end of this video, you'll question everything you thought you knew about the timeline of human achievement. We'll explore artifacts that have stumped scientists for decades, examine the evidence both for and against their authenticity, and dive deep into the implications of what these objects might mean for our understanding of history itself. Let's start with what might be the most famous out-of-place artifact ever discovered, the Antikythera mechanism. Picture this. It's 1901, and sponge divers are working off the coast of the Greek island Antikythera when they stumble upon an ancient Roman shipwreck. Among the treasures they pull from the seafloor is a corroded bronze object that initially looks like nothing more than a lump of metal. But as researchers began to study it, they realized they were looking at something that would rewrite our understanding of ancient Greek technology. The Antikythera mechanism, dating back to around 100 BCE, is essentially an ancient Greek computer. This isn't some primitive calculation device we're talking about. This is a sophisticated mechanical calculator with over 30 bronze gears that could predict eclipses, track the cycles of the moon, and follow the movements of known planets with startling accuracy. The level of precision required to create such a device wouldn't be seen again in human civilization for over 1,000 years. What makes this discovery so revolutionary is that it suggests the ancient Greeks possessed mechanical knowledge that historians believe didn't exist until the development of astronomical clocks in medieval Europe. The device demonstrates an understanding of differential gearing, a concept so advanced that it wasn't rediscovered until the 16th century. How did ancient craftsmen create something so sophisticated using only hand tools? And more importantly, if they could build one computer, how many others might there have been? The implications are staggering. If ancient civilizations possessed this level of technological sophistication, what other advanced devices might have existed that we simply haven't found yet? Or perhaps more unsettling, what if we have found them but dismissed them as anomalies rather than evidence of a far more advanced ancient world? Moving from the Mediterranean to the Americas, we encounter another category of perplexing artifacts: the crystal skulls. These are not the Hollywood fantasy versions you might be thinking of, but real crystal skulls that have sparked decades of debate among archaeologists, historians, and conspiracy theorists alike. The most famous of these is the Mitchell-Hedges crystal skull, discovered in the 1920s in Belize and claimed to be of ancient Mayan origin. What makes these skulls so controversial is their incredible craftsmanship. Carved from single blocks of quartz crystal, they display a level of detail and precision that seems impossible to achieve with ancient tools. The crystal used in their construction is extremely hard, ranking 7 on the Mohs scale, making it incredibly difficult to work with, even using modern equipment. Yet these skulls show no tool marks whatsoever, as if they were somehow shaped without any physical carving process. Supporters of their ancient origin point to the fact that quartz crystal has unique properties that ancient civilizations might have valued for spiritual or technological purposes. Crystal has piezoelectric properties, meaning it can generate electricity under pressure, and it's used in modern technology for precisely this reason. Could ancient civilizations have understood these properties thousands of years before modern science rediscovered them? However, skeptics argue that detailed analysis of some crystal skulls has revealed tool marks consistent with modern rotary tools, suggesting they may be clever modern forgeries rather than ancient artifacts. This has led to a heated debate in archaeological circles about authentication methods and the reliability of various testing techniques. The controversy surrounding these skulls highlights a broader issue in the study of out-of-place artifacts. How do we distinguish between genuine ancient mysteries and modern hoaxes? Let's journey to South America, where we find some of the most puzzling stone carvings in the world, the Ica stones of Peru. These are a collection of andesite stones covered with intricate engravings that depict what appear to be impossible scenes from ancient times. We're talking about images of dinosaurs coexisting with humans, advanced surgical procedures being performed, and what look like maps of unknown continents. The stones were brought to public attention in the 1960s by Dr. Javier Cabrera, who amassed a collection of over 15,000 of these carved stones. The engravings show remarkable detail and consistency, depicting everything from complex medical procedures like heart surgery and brain operations to astronomical observations and what appear to be flying machines. Some stones even seem to show the Earth from space, complete with unknown land masses. What makes the Ica stones particularly intriguing is their apparent age. The stones themselves are ancient, and the patination on the carved surfaces suggests the engravings are not recent additions. However, the subject matter depicted is so anachronistic that it challenges our entire understanding of when certain knowledge became available to human civilization. How could ancient peoples have known about surgical procedures that weren't developed until the modern era? And why would they carve images of dinosaurs, creatures that went extinct millions of years before humans appeared on Earth? Critics argue that the stones are elaborate hoaxes, pointing to the fact that local farmers admitted to creating some of the stones to sell to tourists. However, supporters contend that while some modern forgeries certainly exist, the core collection contains genuinely ancient stones that present legitimate historical mysteries. This situation perfectly illustrates the challenge of studying out-of-place artifacts. Separating authentic mysteries from clever fakes requires careful scientific analysis and an open but critical mind. Now let's explore one of the most technologically advanced out-of-place artifacts ever discovered, the Baghdad Battery. Found near Baghdad, Iraq in 1936, this artifact consists of a clay jar containing a copper cylinder and an iron rod. When filled with an acidic solution, this arrangement creates a functioning electrical cell capable of generating about 1.1 volts of electricity. The jar dates to the Parthian period, around 250 BCE to 250 CE, which means that if it is indeed a battery, it predates the official invention of the electric battery by Alessandro Volta by more than 1,000 years. But here's where things get really interesting. What would ancient peoples have used electricity for? There are no ancient electrical devices that we know of, no light bulbs or electrical tools from this period. Some researchers have proposed that the Baghdad battery might have been used for electroplating, a process that uses electrical current to coat objects with thin layers of metal. This theory gained support when experimenters successfully used replicas of the Baghdad battery to electroplate silver onto other metals. Archaeological evidence has been found of gold-plated objects from this period that show no sign of mechanical plating techniques, suggesting that some form of electroplating might indeed have been used. But the mystery deepens when we consider the implications. If ancient peoples could generate electricity and use it for practical purposes, what other electrical applications might they have discovered? Could they have had more sophisticated electrical devices that simply haven't survived the passage of time? The Baghdad battery forces us to reconsider our assumptions about the technological limitations of ancient civilizations. Moving to India, we encounter the Iron Pillar of Delhi, a metallurgical marvel that has puzzled scientists for centuries, standing 23 feet tall and weighing over 6 tons. This pillar was erected sometime between 300 and 400 CE. What makes it extraordinary is its composition. It's made of 98% wrought iron, but despite being exposed to Delhi's harsh climate for over 1,600 years, it shows virtually no signs of rust or corrosion. Modern metallurgists have studied the pillar extensively, trying to understand how ancient smiths created iron with such remarkable corrosion resistance. The pillar's iron contains trace amounts of phosphorus and other elements that seem to form a protective barrier against rust, but the exact process used to create this effect remains a mystery. Some researchers believe the iron was produced using techniques that we haven't fully understood or replicated even today. The iron pillar raises profound questions about the metallurgical knowledge of ancient Indian civilizations. If they could create corrosion-resistant iron 1600 years ago, what other advanced metallurgical techniques did they possess? And why did this knowledge apparently disappear, only to be rediscovered in modern times? The pillar stands as a testament to technological capabilities that seem impossibly advanced for its time. Let's venture into the realm of ancient maps with the Piri Reis map, created by Ottoman admiral and cartographer Piri Reis in 1513. This map shows the Atlantic Ocean with remarkable accuracy, including detailed depictions of the coastlines of Europe, Africa, and the Americas. But here's what makes it truly mysterious. It appears to show the coastline of Antarctica with incredible detail, including features that are currently hidden beneath miles of ice. Antarctica wasn't officially discovered until 1820, more than 300 years after the Piri Reis map was created. Even more puzzling, the map seems to show Antarctica as it would appear without its ice sheet, revealing coastline features that weren't mapped by modern science until the 1950s, using ground-penetrating radar and other advanced techniques. How could a 16th century cartographer have access to such detailed information about a continent that hadn't been discovered yet? Piri Reis himself claimed to have compiled his map from various ancient sources, some dating back to the time of Alexander the Great. This raises the tantalizing possibility that ancient civilizations possessed geographical knowledge far superior to what mainstream history credits them with. Some researchers suggest that the map might be evidence of ancient advanced civilizations that conducted global exploration thousands of years before the age of European discovery. However, critics argue that the apparent accuracy of the map regarding Antarctica might be coincidental, or that the coastlines depicted might actually represent other known landmasses distorted by the map-making techniques of the time. The debate continues, but the Piri Reis map remains one of the most intriguing cartographic mysteries in existence. In Romania, we find the aluminum wedge of Aiud, discovered in 1974 alongside mastodon bones that were approximately 20,000 years old. This object is particularly puzzling because aluminum, while abundant in the Earth's crust, wasn't isolated and produced commercially until 1825. The process of extracting aluminum from its ore requires advanced industrial techniques and enormous amounts of energy, making it one of the last metals to be refined by human civilization. Yet here we have an aluminum object apparently buried alongside prehistoric remains. The wedge itself shows signs of artificial manufacture, with what appear to be machined surfaces and holes that suggest it was part of some larger mechanism. Analysis of the oxidation on the object's surface suggests it has been buried for an extremely long time, potentially thousands of years. The implications are staggering. If this object is genuinely ancient, it suggests that prehistoric civilizations possessed industrial capabilities far beyond anything we've imagined. Aluminum production requires not just advanced metallurgical knowledge, but also significant industrial infrastructure and energy sources. What kind of civilization could have possessed such capabilities 20,000 years ago? And why is there no other evidence of their existence? Skeptics argue that the object might be a modern piece of machinery that somehow became mixed with ancient geological layers, or that the dating methods used were flawed. However, supporters point to the extensive oxidation and mineral deposits on the object as evidence of genuine ancient origin. The aluminum wedge of Aiud remains one of the most controversial out-of-place artifacts, challenging our understanding of both ancient capabilities and the timeline of technological development. These out-of-place artifacts force us to confront uncomfortable questions about our understanding of history. Are we missing crucial chapters in the story of human civilization? Could ancient peoples have achieved technological capabilities that we've drastically underestimated? Or are these artifacts evidence of something even more extraordinary, perhaps contact with advanced civilizations from elsewhere in the universe. The scientific community remains divided on these questions. Traditional archaeologists often dismiss out-of-place artifacts as hoaxes, misidentified objects, or examples of convergent technological development. They argue that extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence, and that most of these artifacts can be explained through conventional means when subjected to rigorous scientific analysis. However, a growing number of researchers argue that we should approach these artifacts with open minds, using them as opportunities to expand our understanding rather than dismiss them outright. They point out that many legitimate archaeological discoveries were initially met with skepticism from the scientific establishment, and that dismissing anomalous evidence too quickly might cause us to miss important insights about our past. The study of out-of-place artifacts also raises important questions about the nature of scientific inquiry itself. How do we balance healthy skepticism with openness to new possibilities? How do we distinguish between legitimate mysteries and clever hoaxes? And how do we avoid both the trap of dismissing genuine anomalies and the equally dangerous trap of accepting extraordinary claims without sufficient evidence? What makes these artifacts so compelling is not just their individual mysteries, but the pattern they represent. When we find one object that seems out of place in time, it might be an anomaly. But when we find dozens of such objects from different cultures, different time periods, and different parts of the world, it becomes harder to dismiss them all as coincidences or hoaxes. These artifacts suggest that the story of human technological development might not be the simple linear progression we've been taught. Instead of a steady climb from primitive stone tools to modern technology, the evidence suggests a more complex picture, with peaks and valleys of achievement, lost knowledge, and rediscovered capabilities. The implications extend beyond archaeology and history into our understanding of human potential itself. If ancient civilizations achieved remarkable technological feats with limited resources, what does that tell us about human ingenuity and capability? Are we perhaps not as advanced relative to our ancestors as we like to believe? As we continue to discover and study out-of-place artifacts, new technologies are giving us better tools for analysis. Advanced dating techniques, detailed chemical analysis, and sophisticated imaging technologies are helping researchers separate authentic mysteries from modern fakes. But each new discovery seems to raise as many questions as it answers. The story of out-of-place artifacts is ultimately the story of human curiosity and our endless quest to understand our origins. Whether these objects represent lost chapters of human achievement, evidence of ancient advanced civilizations, or something even more extraordinary, they remind us that history is far more complex and mysterious than we might imagine. These artifacts challenge us to remain humble about what we know and what we don't know about our past. They encourage us to keep asking questions, to keep investigating mysteries, and to remain open to the possibility that the story of human civilization might be far more incredible than we've ever dared to imagine. The next time you visit a museum or read about an archaeological discovery, remember these out-of-place artifacts. Remember that scattered across our world are objects that don't quite fit our understanding of history, objects that whisper of lost knowledge and forgotten achievements. Whether they represent human ingenuity, ancient advanced civilizations, or something else entirely, they remind us that the past still holds secrets waiting to be discovered. What do you think about these mysterious artifacts? Do they represent evidence of advanced ancient civilizations, or are they elaborate hoaxes designed to fool the gullible? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe for more fascinating explorations into the mysteries of our world. The truth might be stranger than we ever imagined.